Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million things I haven't done. But just you wait, just you wait.
Why was it so important to get this out to millions of people on a very family-friendly platform?
I have the good fortune of a good relationship with Disney that began in 1989 when I saw The Little Mermaid, and it blew my mind. And I started writing musicals, and has continued with my work in Moana and other projects. Partnering with them felt like a really logical fit because of their worldwide reach. You know, we had the foresight to independently finance this back in 2016 before there was a Disney Plus. We just knew that we had this incredible company, and we wanted to capture their performances while they were all still in the building. Incredibly grateful that we had that foresight. And now at a time when there's no theater anywhere, really, we have this giant movie that is a love letter to live theater, and what it felt like to be in the theater at the Richard Rodgers on this date in 2016, because the first performance we filmed was actually June 26, 2016. And so I'm enormously grateful for that. But it's always been about letting as many people into the tent as possible.
What was so important about capturing this original cast? Because obviously there's been many more productions now of Hamilton.
It was a moment in time that was really electrified. The show was speaking to a lot of people, and it was also saying so many people out there haven't been able to see it, but this thing is happening. This thing is happening, and it's somehow touching people. And Alex and I were in the middle of it, him more than me because he was conducting the show, but we were witnessing something that we were like, we don't know what's going to happen, but this is special. And so I'm really thrilled that our producers had the forethought to say, let's capture this and let's hold it, because theater you can't recreate, and this is a moment that really should somehow be recreated.
Two Virginians and an immigrant walk into a room diametrically opposed foes. They emerge with a compromise, having opened doors that were previously closed.
So just tell me, what was it like, you know, when they said to you, oh, we're going to film this, you know, just perform like normal and we're shooting it and cameras everywhere. What was that experience like?
After the high altitude training we'd had of performing for every hero, every you know, celebrity and statesman you could imagine, you know, we were used to doing our show under, you know, with high stakes. So what was important to me was preserving this thing that I thought we'd built. We'd built it well. And so when they brought the cameras in, it wasn't about doing anything special. I wanted to do the show the way we always did it.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Now everyone give it up for the maid of honor, Angelica Schuyler.
A toast to the groom,
To the groom, to the groom, to the groom,
to the bride,
to the bride.
from your sister.
Just explain how sort of revolutionary this was for how women were portrayed for this show and what women and girls looking at it can relate to.
I was always very grateful that they understood this would not be a complete story without finding a way to represent the foremothers of this country. You know, that those are harder stories to find, and it's just so tempting and so often done to leave them out and let them just be somehow or another supportive on the arm of, waiting there when they get home. But to miss the opportunity to go inside of their brain, see the struggles that they were fighting for, acknowledge, how they were left out of the equation. And when you first meet them, right, in their very first song, you see a one-up, between Angelica and Burr, that immediately frames them as intelligent and worthy and essential in this world. So I'm so grateful that choice was made, and I think it's one of the reasons why Hamilton is so successful.
No one else was in the room where it happened, the room where it happened, the room where it happened. No one one really knows how the game is played. The art of the trade, how the sausage gets made.
So things have changed a lot since Hamilton was last seen on stage, particularly with the Black Lives Matters that has become so resonant around the world. When you see Hamilton on posters, on protest posters, and does it feel like this show has this whole new resonance now in this world?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing we kind of keep coming back to, is that not a word of this show has changed since 2015, but the world changes. And because our show, a couple of things. One, it deals in the origins of this country and the contradictions inherent at the dawn of this country: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, written by men who owned other people. Like, there's a contradiction from the moment of inception. And two, we're a show that populated this story with Black and brown bodies, because I wanted to write a hip hop and R&B musical in the story of the only one of the founders who was an immigrant, who came from somewhere else. And that notion was very conscious on our part, because good, bad, or indifferent, we are the inheritors of this country, this increasingly diverse country, and the Black and brown young men and women who are leading these protests in the streets. To see the language of revolution that we wrote in a show 5 years ago continue to resonate in that way is really fascinating and humbling, and it's also a theme of the show, which is that you make what you make, and you put into the world what you put into the world, and you don't control what happens after that. And so to see it continue to resonate is enormously gratifying indeed.